Good morning, true crime friends. Hey, anything new? Anything exciting happening in your world? Listen, y'all have reached out and reached out and reached out, and I have heard you talking. Wait, let me center my little phone here. Okay, look. First of all, like this video, subscribe to the channel, because we have a lot to talk about this morning. Ooh, I'm already sweating. Ooh, you know I'm flashing this morning. Okay, so look. For the uninitiated, today is Wednesday, September the 6th. And yesterday, Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin held a press conference during which they said there was jury misconduct, and Miss Becky down there in the Colleton County Courthouse, well, she was corrupting the jurors and telling them how to vote and saying mean and nasty things about Alex. And I was like, was she? Let us just wind our minds back and think about who we're talking about here. Now, do I believe them? No. Very frankly, no. But I am willing to offer the benefit of the doubt to everybody in this case. But this is the way I see it. The lioness liar, whoever lied, has said something. And now everyone's like, oh my goodness, can you believe this thing that he and his representatives have said? The answer to that question is no. It is a hearty no. This boy lies as often as he speaks. And now we expect his lawyers, who know he's a liar and who have supported his lying all this time, to just be like, oh, wow, it's terrible. Now listen, if Rebecca Hill did things that were improper, then I think that she should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. But I also think, just like Alex Murdaugh received, we need to look at all of the evidence. Yes, I read those little jury affidavits. I went in, I read them, and then I went over to Peter Tragos, the lawyer you know, and I watched him break it all the way down. And then I did the most important research, and that is that I went back to my old reporting on the case, and I was like, what were we saying back then versus what they saying now? And you know what? I made a video on the day that the egg juror got kicked off. I'm going to see if I can tag it or something so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And this is what was said the day she got kicked off. Now listen, there was some rumor and chit chat about her ex-husband posting something on the internet. In addition to that, she spoke to 3 co-workers about her being on the jury and what she thought. And she said that she thought Alex was going to walk, yada, 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 yada. So yeah, the ex-husband was in the mix, but that was not the only situation that took place, right? And so the judge and SLED and all of them did their whole investigation, recorded these people, talked to everybody, and then went and talked to her in the back room with both lawyers, the prosecution and the defense, and Judge Newman and the egg juror had a little meeting back in chambers. And then he said, okay, we got to do this on the record. And he brought her before the court, and then he did the same thing in court. And she said, if you will watch that video, she said, is this about my ex-husband? And the judge, the Honorable Judge Colleton Newman, said, this has nothing to do with your husband. It was not about her husband. It was never about her husband. It was about her running her big old mouth to her coworkers, and they were like, thank you, ma'am, goodbye. Now, so there's that. The other 2 affidavits that I read yesterday, okay, so look, this is how I am seeing them, and I am dying. I will be perched. I will be breathless. I will be watching every single word if this whole thing comes to court. But what the other jurors have said is Miss Becky said X, and I read that to mean, and then they put some whole other meaning on it. Okay, Miss Becky said, pay attention and watch closely. I read that to mean she thought Alex was guilty. Maybe she just meant you're supposed to pay attention and watch closely. These are small town folks. They got a little chitty chat. Listen, up here, you wouldn't have all that small talk. Small talk, people are trying to have small talk, big talk, no kind of talk. You mind your business, I mind my business. Let's commit to shutting up, and let's all go in here and do what our jobs is. But no, Miss Becky, she's an elected official. Oh, so she's like, hey, how you doing? How's your mom and them? You got that good biscuit recipe? Girl, what's going on? These people could be talking about anything. Plus, it's a small town, and they all know each other. Miss Becky's daughter was almost on the jury. Come on now. You think them jurors didn't know each other? One of the jurors, his brother, was the first officer to appear at SLED. He was the first officer in the county to appear at the murder scene. Look. There's no question in my mind that Miss Becky communicated with these people constantly. Do I think she was talking about the trial? No. Now, based on just what I feel. I can feel that in my spirit. That is what I'm feeling in my spirit. But it's fascinating to watch all these people just throw Miss Becky under the bus. And the folks who were throwing the hardest are those who were trying to get a platform for themselves, trying to get themselves a podcast or a TV show and whatever, and do what you got to do, boo-boo. But don't think you fooling everybody because you're not fooling me. I see you. I have eyes. And I was there at the trial. Remember the trial? Remember the trial? The trial in which Jim Griffin said, if I had known he was at the kennel, I would not be defending him today. That trial, I was there. I saw the footage and then I reported on it breathlessly. And it was watched by tens of people back in the day because I've been on this trial for like 3-4 years. I've been on this trial since probably before it happened. I don't know. I've been following this for a long, long time. So Jim, my friend, look, okay, you know your friend is a liar. You told us all your friend is a liar. We know the Dick Harpootlian is reckless. So reckless that he got up there and almost messed up the whole case from the beginning. If you will recall, in the beginning, Dick Harpootlian was up there cross-examining people and waving guns around and doing all this craziness. And Alex ultimately set him down and was like, nah, you about to send me to prison, boo-boo. I'm going to need you to sit there and look pretty and just be a state senator. And we're going to let the competent lawyer, Jim Griffin, do the rest of this case. Remember the end of that trial? Where Dick was angry and mad and stomping around, wanting to go back to poop by the sea. Remember we talked about that? We talked about the fact that Dick Harpootlian was just here trying to get his 15 minutes of fame and get him some money. And if Alex paid his entire bill, he could add a swimming pool onto his mansion and then go relax out of his beach house, which we affectionately named Poop by the Sea. I recall, okay, I didn't recall off the top of my head, but I did recall after I saw me say it on my old video, and I was like, that is correct. Okay, so Miss Egg Juror, what you gonna do now? The way I read this situation, based on just what I'm feeling in my spirit, the way I see this situation is this. Everybody did their jury duty. Everybody was on their back and up their behind, like, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. And these folks are like, look, I want to go back to my job. I got kids to raise. I got hogs to slop. My horses need riding. I got to cut this grass. You see all this pollen? I'm going to get a gun and shoot a wild hog. I don't know what they be doing down there in South Carolina. They probably got a Buc-ee's or something. They're going to go buy some jerky and a swimsuit and a fishing pole. I don't know what they sell at Buc-ee's. Still trying to figure out what that story is. But anyway, these people are busy and they have lives. And this trial took over their entire lives. And yes, a couple of them got a free trip to New York City. I hope you saw Times Square and all the other beautiful sightings of the city. And then they went on back to South Carolina and enjoyed their nice black flies and molasses or whatever else they have down there. You know, I don't know. All that diabetes in the cup, some of that sweet tea. Because, you know, we don't do sweet tea like that up here because we're not trying to die. We might die by gunshot wounds, you know, and muggins, and rat bites. But sweet tea, nah. We're going to take a pass on that. Anyway, a couple people got to travel. They got to see new places. They got a lot of attention paid to them. And Miss Egg Juror, she like, what I got? A dozen eggs. And then here come this chatty Cathy Miss Becky, who, if you recall, the judge asked her in court on the record, has anybody influenced you? She said no. Did Miss Becky say anything crazy to you? No. So, ma'am, help me understand. Was you lying then or are you lying now? Did you look at Miss Becky's book and be like, why this heifer got a book and I just got a dozen eggs? Them eggs are long gone. Can I get a second dozen eggs? Who's the juror with the farm? Is he going to be my friend? And word on the street is that all these jurors got together. They got to be a close little family in that 6 weeks. Let me tell you something. What I'm not going to do is hang out with the people I was on jury duty with. It was nice to see y'all. I'm going to wave when I see you down at the Piggly Wiggly, but I don't want to text to you. No, thank you. Now, I got relatives that I don't have time to talk to. I'm going to talk to this Mama Luke. No, thank you. So look, all these jurors after the trial, they got to be so close and comfortable and warm and fuzzy and whatever. And so they exchanged phone numbers and they had themselves a little text chat back and forth. They was texting each other, how you doing? How's your grandbaby? And so they was good friends. Okay, good for them. I guess that's a small town thing because I've been on 3 juries. I couldn't pick none of them suckers out of a lineup if my life depended on it. I don't want to know them. I have plenty of friends. Thank you so much. Anyway, so they was chatting back and forth and a couple of the jurors dropped off like, okay, y'all too chatty and I have a life that does not include you. Thank you so much. And then they just went on. Miss Egg Juror is sitting back like, y'all got travel. Y'all got extra eggs. What about me? And so here come Jim and Dick. Knock, knock, knock. Ma'am, we have some eggs and some bacon for you. And she was like, what you need me to say? Now, That is what I think happened. And so they got this one real disgruntled juror who has already said on the record in a sworn oath before God and all the world that nobody influenced me, nobody said anything to me, everything is cool. And you know, the gossip, and that is what I'm here to share with you. The gossip, the rumor, and the innuendo of the situation is that there was speculation that the egg juror was a plant by the defense, or at least the defense felt positively about her, like, oh, she's gonna swing the case in our direction. Okay, cool. Now she's gone and y'all mad. How come y'all say nothing at the time? They were like, oh, well, did you notice that Miss Becky was talking to people? Dick and them was like, yeah, but we didn't ascribe any nefarious conduct to that. Why not? Y'all don't trust nobody. Oh, you're supposed to be this top defense lawyer. I guess you believe Alex, so you would just believe anything. Let me get this straight. You believe a double murderer didn't do it, but Miss Becky, who has so little to gain. Do you know how often people read books? Not hardly at all. If she sold 4 books, she was lucky. And y'all think the book was trash. How you know? Because apparently you put some money in her pocket and you read it. So you must know a little something about that book. I tell you what, this is going to be the Streisand effect on this book. Nobody was checking for Miss Becky's book. She went on a couple little tours or whatever. I actually read books on paper and listen to audiobooks. I saw her book. I was like, okay. I'm going to put that on my wish list and then watch it move down, down, down and fall off because I'm going to lose interest. You know what I did yesterday? Bought the book. Everybody's like, I hope she got a lawyer. Let me tell you something. She can afford a lawyer now. She can also afford to move her behind out of that little backwards behind county down there if this is how things are running. Because everybody, the audio book, her book tour about to blow up. She about to write a second book. Now, the egg juror, maybe she gonna write Cracked Eggs or something. I don't know what her memoir is gonna be called, but she gonna get a book out of this. Jim Griffin has a podcast. Dick Harpootlian is up there. And can we just all pause for a moment and praise God that he got sunglasses that fit his face? Them last sunglasses were struggling, y'all. The sunglasses that he had after the conviction, they were so small. Somebody called them baby gap sunglasses. Them sunglasses needed a bailout so bad. They were struggling to get around his head. So I appreciate the fact that he got some properly sized aviators. Shout out to Mrs. Poo Poo, because that was probably her doing. She looked at the TV. She was like, oh my God. What is my husband up here doing? First of all, I had to be married to that. I have to see that unclothed from time to time when I'm not flushing his blue pills down the toilet. And now he's up here looking crazy on TV, but I'm sure she's used to him looking crazy on TV. But the fashions was appalling. But yesterday, she got him some glasses that fit his head. He didn't look like his head was about to explode out the side of them glasses. I'm like, okay, you probably gave them old glasses to your grandbaby because that's all they was going to fit. Dick and Jim were standing up there. The Sixth Amendment and blah, 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 blah. Listen, Alex Murdaugh deserves a fair trial. No question about it. Every criminal defendant deserves a fair trial. Alex Murdaugh received a fair trial. In my opinion, there are people who think he didn't do it. Did the state have a perfect case? Absolutely not. Did the defense have a perfect case? Absolutely not. You know what, though? What about that video? That's all I need to know. Y'all tell me something. Tell me something about that video. And I appreciate the craftiness and the deviousness of what these gentlemen are trying to do. They're like, okay. So we're going to throw Miss Becky under the bus because y'all don't care about nobody. Listen, he ain't care about his wife and child. You think he care about Miss Becky? Not at all. You think he cares about his living son who has to live through this and get all this churned up again? Not at all. Alex Murdaugh cares about Alex Murdaugh. And so he's like, we're going to dispatch with Miss Becky and have her crying and running off someplace. And we're going to say, oh, Judge Clifton Newman, he was a witness. So we going to need a new judge. What judge can we buy and pay for? Oh, I tell you what, we're going to put this in the federal system because his civil rights have been violated. You know whose civil rights were violated? Maggie and Paul. What about their civil rights? They over here dead. And no matter what happens, they not coming back. But you're like, my civil rights. I deserve the high quality beef sticks and the everything chips and the whatever else they serve over there in federal prison. So Alex trying to go to the feds. Okay. Is federal prison nicer? You want to hang out with Russell Laffitte and Corey Fleming? You gonna get the band back together? Gotcha. Okay, sir. So I'm here. I'm gonna watch this play out. All of us are going to be here. Now listen, this is a money-making exercise for everybody involved. Do not get it twisted. You think that Fitz News and Court TV and all the news channels, every podcaster around, everybody is not, our views are not through the roof. Y'all looking at y'all analytics. Just put Murdaugh in your search terms. Your analytics have gone crazy in the last day. Me too. And I am not mad about it. What I am mad about is the injustice and the craziness of this. Now listen, if there is a retrial, will I be there? Yeah. I'm gonna follow it breathlessly, just like I did the last one. And I might even show like the video from, remember when this piece of evidence came out? Here's my old video. Here's my new take on the evidence. Oh yeah, I might even learn to edit for that. Child, I'm gonna be out here making a bag. Everybody gonna get a bag on this. But you know who's not gonna get a bag? Maggie and Paul and the Brandstetters and this entire family who's being dragged through the mud and just I cannot imagine having a loved one be gone from this planet in this way and to have this fool come back and still be pulling these shenanigans. You know what they want his family, both sides of his family, the Murdaugh side and the Brandstetter side want him to do? Commence to shutting up. You know, Maggie's poor sweet sister, she's like, this fool, why in the world? They putting their trust fund money together and they planning a hit. They're like, can we inject some nicotine into some beef sticks or something? You know that boy like to eat. You saw his old weight is starting to creep back. Let's send him some laced ho-hos or something like that. They tired of him. They real tired of him. Now, did Miss Becky do wrong? I don't know. If she did, she should be punished. But if this is just a scheme, listen, the fires of hell are not hot enough for all the people who are putting this family through this madness. Now, if Miss Becky did wrong, if this juror did wrong, anybody who did wrong, Karma got your number. Karma got everybody's number, everybody's address, and she sometimes is late, but she never fails to show. So y'all should be governing yourselves accordingly. The fact that old Poo-Poo hasn't had a heart attack and dropped dead, it seems like a miracle to me, because I'm like, all the evil this boy be doing. Egg juror girl, you not safe. I hope you move to North Carolina. What's she gonna do with her life now? Everybody's like, Becky. Poor Becky Hill is probably over there having a nervous breakdown. Can she even go to work? Does she have a bodyguard? Miss Becky, are you safe? But that egg juror who came with this mess, girl, you know people about to have your name out here in the media in 2 hot seconds. Everybody's gonna know your name. Everybody, and Dick and them are like, we ask for privacy while we work through this. That's the last thing you wanted. Because you know what? If you wanted privacy, you would have just quietly filed this instead of having a big press conference with folks from around the world, news media from around the world. You got your proper fitting sunglasses and a good suit, and you stood up there barely sweating at all, talking about, okay, we demand justice. Go on, pound the table. Do what you gotta do, boo-boo. We gonna be here, we gonna watch, we all gonna get our bag and then move on to the next case. And then later be like, remember that time we did that whole thing down in there? What was the name of that county? I don't even remember the name of that county. Oh, that was so much fun. And the way Dick and Jim shaded the good people of Colleton County, they're like, we out here on these dirt back roads that we didn't even know existed. We city boys. Really? Are you? Because you keep going back and forth. One time you a city boy, the next time you know all about fly fishing and hogs and doves and whatever else. I don't know nothing about that. Like, to me, a dove is a thing from a Christmas song. Y'all hunting doves? Do they taste good? What you doing? That's just like a little bit of meat. It's like frog legs. I don't know. It's just a tiny little bit. Okay, whatever. It's not my business. We was out here on dirt roads, knocking on doors that we didn't know existed. I'm surprised y'all didn't get shot, but let us be abundantly clear. Dick and Jim was not knocking on doors. Do you think those dudes in their suits on a Sunday afternoon was out knocking on doors? They were not. They had their little paralegals like, hey, can you go down there in the heat and all or whatever and knock on some doors and talk to some people? Because you know I'm over here with my pinky out, drinking my whiskey. I'm not trying to go down there to the unwashed masses and dirt roads. No, thank you. They talked about them Colleton County people like they wasn't nothing. They like, oh, it was folks living in shacks and lean-tos. It was a tiny little mushroom with a door on the front of it. The roof was painted red with white dots. And one of our people had to knock on it like, ew, I didn't want to touch them people. So I sent the other. That was the vibe that they gave to me when they talked about Colleton County. Listen, Colleton County, y'all about to be in for it. And I hope it's at least good for your economy. Hopefully you get some tourists or whatever. Everybody is jumping up and down and loving this case and whatever. Okay, frankly, me too. But real talk, there are real human beings. The Brandstetters, for example. Maggie's mom and daddy's still alive. if this hasn't killed him. Buster is still alive. Buster boy, you safe? You safe? You living in a gated community? We know you don't have a job, so you just got nothing but free time to be roaming around, walking your little dog or whatever you're doing. The Buffalo Wild Wings don't even want you back. Buster, you need a podcast. Buster, you need a TV show. You need to do something. Poor Buster has conducted himself with dignity and decorum while his father has been called a murderer. He's been accused of murdering Stephen Smith. Everybody has said everything in the world about him. People got that long telephoto lens taking pictures of him inside his house. It is a crying shame. And then I looked at the pictures. You know what I'm saying? I think it is terrible that they have invaded his privacy. What other pictures y'all got? Because that's how that goes. I can feel bad. And they'll be like, ooh, but I want to know. I want to know. So look. Dick and Jim are out here with the gossip, the rumor, and the innuendo of it all, and I am here for it. I'm mad that I feel like they're trying to take my job. How y'all out here with gossips and rumors, and you have not even credited me, the original gossip, rumor, and innuendo? I am offended. But also, if I cast my mind back, the name of my little YouTube channel came from something you said. You said in the early days of this case, we are not here for the gossip, the rumor, and the innuendo. And I was like, you not? Because that's the only reason I'm here. I want to hear it all. Please bring me all the tea. I am perched. Tell me everything. So, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to see what happens. I suspect that this is a big nothing burger. Whether it is or whether it's not, I'm going to cover it breathlessly while keeping a good thought for the Branstetters and Buster and Maggie's mom and daddy. Everybody on both sides of this family. Everybody is suffering. Alex deserves to suffer. I suspect he's delighted by all this. Wait. I almost forgot. They said, what did Alex say when you told him this? He was very upset and he was shaking and he couldn't believe it. And he thanked us very much. Let me tell you one thing. Number one, they didn't write him a letter to tell him because we established yesterday that Alex Murdaugh likely cannot read. Go back to yesterday's video if you need reference material on that one. Number two, he was jumping up and down with excitement and joy at the thought that he might go to federal prison instead of state prison because the only thing Alex Murdaugh cares about is Alex Murdaugh and Alex Murdaugh's life and what's going on with Alex Murdaugh. So, yeah, he was quivering and shaking with glee and excitement at the thought of having a whole new batch of criminals to learn from. So, we see you, Alex. You think we don't see you? You think we don't know? Oh, boo-boo, we know. We see you clearly. And we will be sitting here just watching. Now, listen. Did I say like and subscribe? You should like and subscribe to this channel. Also, it's some new Shirley Strawberry tapes out. Child, we got to talk about those, but that's going to have to be another video because this one going to take long enough to upload anyway. Okay, I will see y'all later, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.